Welcome to Getting Started with Azure Certifications. Let me start off by introducing myself. My name is Loraine Lawrence, and I'm an Azure Technical Trainer at Microsoft. You can see my contact detail on the bottom left of the screen. Feel free to reach out and say hi. Prior to Microsoft, I was a Salesforce and Workday trainer. I'm also Apple certified. I'm a content developer and an organizational change manager as well. You may be asking yourself, why should I certify? Well, there are many reasons, and let's take a look at some of them in the next screen. Some of the top reasons that pop out to me from a global knowledge survey is 91% say it gives them professional credibility. 35% say they've seen a salary or wage increase with certification. 41% say it adds to their job satisfaction. And 52% say they're more sought after within their organization with certifications. There's many great reasons to certify. Today I'm going to cover three main topics. The first one being resources. I'm going to cover different ways of learning Microsoft products and talking about certification. Then I'm going to go into accounts and how to set up a Microsoft account and look at the exam booking process. And then the last one, looking at the various certification paths available to you. So let's begin with resources. There are three main categories of learning resources. The first one on the left is Learning Paths by Microsoft. The second one is Free Instructor-Led Training by Microsoft. And the third one is Instructor-Led Training that is paid. Let's take a look at the first one. We're going to go into Microsoft Learn right now. So I've pulled up that link that was on screen that's taken me to Microsoft Learn. You can see I'm on the home page currently. Just looking at it, you can see I can customize my learning path. I've got some learning paths already created for me. Certifications are here, and there's also Learn TV. If I scroll down, I can see some popular paths and modules. Current favorites as well. So let's go start up at the top here in Learning Paths. I'm going to browse all learning options. And you can see all Microsoft products are here, but I'm going to filter by Azure. Scrolling down, I could choose a role I'm interested in. I'm going to leave that blank for now, and I can also choose the level of learning I'm looking for. For now, I'm going to keep it at beginner. And going back up, I've got 598 results. Looking onto the right-hand side here, I can see I have modules, and then I have complete learning paths as well. You can see the ratings by each module, how they're rated, how long each module is, and even this one, how long this learning path is. I can bookmark it for later, and I can also learn about it by clicking on the plus. So let's go to the learning path here on the right-hand side. You can see it takes roughly an hour and 36 minutes. It's a learning path with 3 modules built in. There's a video here. Some learning describing what's in the path below. Some prerequisites, if there is a prerequisite, will be listed here, and I can go ahead and start. Again, it tells me how long this is going to take, roughly 4 minutes. There's a video as well, and then it goes on to the learning material. So this is the learning path in Microsoft Learn. Going back to the Learn homepage. While I'm here, let's take a look at where I can see some of the certifications. And I can pick by different streams as well. And how to become Microsoft certified. This is Microsoft Learn. That was Microsoft Learn. Let's take a look at our second option now, which is free Microsoft Instructor-Led Training, and that's this center link right here. Let's pull it up on screen. So I've just followed that second link on screen, and you can see it right here. So these are Azure events, and I can filter by country, by type of event, and even by product. I'm going to keep it simple and just scroll down to see some of the events that are available. They're listed by date, as you can see on the left-hand side here. Okay, so quite simple. I'm going to go and pick just the top one here to make it simple. Going to go click this Microsoft Azure Virtual Training Day, the Fundamentals event. Clicking on it there. It tells me when the course is, including time zones, the language it is in, if there's closed captioning and what languages, describes the course, tells me the agenda for part 1 and part 2 since this is a 2-day course, and it describes a little bit more below. If I find this course suitable for me, I could go ahead and sign up on the right hand side here, confirm by registering, and I'm ready to take that class. So this is the instructor-led training run by Microsoft. Back on the Learning Resources page, we've talked about the learning paths in Microsoft Learn. We've looked at free instructor-led training by Microsoft, and our last option is instructor-led training by learning partners with Microsoft. Let's take a look at what those are. Let's take a look at those. I've just pulled up the instructor-led training by our learning partners, and you can see there's quite a few things on the screen in front of you. Let's start by narrowing down by picking English. I'm going to pick Microsoft Azure. We have other topics here, but we're picking Microsoft Azure for this one. I can pick by role, but I'm going to keep that blank for now, and I can also pick by level of course that I'm looking for. So to make it simple, I'm just going to pick beginner. And these are the courses that match my criteria. So I've got a few courses here. I'm going to pick something really easy. So let's go the 1-day Microsoft Azure Fundamentals class. I'm going to click on that one there. Here's the course we selected. Tells me a description of the course, the level of the course. It's in English. It's a 1-day course, instructor-led. You can see the audience profile, who it's meant for. Tells me what this course is preparing me for, what certification. And then I'm scrolling down to see different courses. It's sorted by date, as you can see here. I can click on one of the dates, find out more details on that course. The time zone is run in as well, as you can see here. And I can go ahead and register. So those are 3 learning resources we have available for you so you can learn Microsoft products and eventually certify. Before you book your Microsoft exam, you will first need to create a Microsoft account. A Microsoft account is basically an account with Microsoft. You can follow the link on screen here to go in and create that account. I followed that link and now I'm on this page to create my Microsoft account. So I'm going to the sign in section. I'm actually going to go ahead and create instead. So sign in. I'm going to sign in, so I have not signed in before, so I'm going to go create that account, and it's right here. Click create. And I'm going to fill in this information to create my account. Once I've created my Microsoft account, I can go back to the Learn page to actually go ahead and book my exam as well. I'm back on the Learn page, and if I look at the top, I'll see certifications, and that's where I'm going to go to book my exam. I'm going to filter by Microsoft Azure again. And if I know the level I'm trying to book, I'm going to say it's a beginner course, and I'm looking for the certification exam. So I've just chosen certifications and exams. I've filtered by Azure, and now I can see the exams that are available to me. Let's pretend I want to book this one here. I'm going to click on it. Describes the material the exam would cover, and I can go ahead and schedule that exam. So I want you to take a close look at the screen in front of you. I have a couple options for booking my exam. The first one is scheduling with Pearson VUE, and that's the main option most people choose, but I wanted to pull your attention to this area down here. Microsoft has decided to help job seekers impacted by COVID by offering them a severely discounted exam price of $15 US. So if you have been impacted by COVID, please follow this link here, and there may be some criteria you'll need to submit, but you can take the exam for a severely discounted price. As you can see, for this current exam, it's normally $99, but if I took it and I'm a job seeker impacted by COVID, I could take it for $15. Once I decide I want to take my exam, I'm going to go schedule it with Pearson VUE, which is our online company for taking exams at Microsoft. It's going to take me to my profile to verify my details are correct. I'm going to go ahead and continue. Once I've verified my profile, I'm now at the Select My Exam Options page. Due to COVID, most exams are from home or office now, online, so I'm going to click that option there. And then it's going to give me some information, going ahead and clicking Next. I'll have to agree to some terms and conditions, so I'm going to agree to this one, and then the privacy policy as well, online test taking policy. And this last box is something to mention. When you're taking your exam at home, you should take it in a quiet environment where people aren't walking in and out. They're also going to verify your environment, making sure there's no post-it notes taped to your computer, or you don't have your phone or another computer handy. So they're going to ask you to take photos of your environment before taking your exam. They'll ask for photos of in front of you, to the right of you, to the left of you, and behind you. And if they're still not sure what your environment looks like, they may ask you to turn on your camera and do a little spin around the room so they can see what the room looks like when you're writing. If you're taking the exam and you tend to speak out loud or read the questions out loud, like I tend to do, they will tell you not to talk in case you're trying to record the questions. So they're very strict on that, trying to make it strict or fair for all the other people who write the exam in an exam environment. So they want to make sure people aren't running in. So if you have little kids, it's maybe a good time to write in the evenings when they're gone to bed and you're not going to be disturbed. So I'm going to click that box. Last one, facial comparison. They're going to check your photo ID and match it to the person they're seeing on screen. So they're verifying that you match that person. I'm going to click that as well and can click Next on the bottom right here. And now I'm going to go ahead and pick the language that I'm going to write my exam in. For me, it's going to be English. I'm going to click Next. And the proctor is the person watching you write that exam. I want them to speak English, so I'm going to say Next. Then I'm going to go in and actually book my exam. There's a calendar in front of me, so I can pick a date. I can decide what type of clock I want. Do I want a 12-hour clock or 24-hour clock? I'm going to say 12 hours to make it easier. It's detected my time zone right here. So it's giving me timings in my time zone on a 12-hour clock. So you can see there's timings from all the way from midnight onwards, almost every 15 minutes, hour on the hour. So let's say I'm going to write at 8:15. It's verifying the information here, so it's the DP900 exam. It says 90 minutes. 60 minutes is actually for your exam. 30 minutes is if you'd like to leave feedback about the exam. So if you found some questions hard to understand, or you weren't sure, you didn't like the way it was phrased or the way it was organized, please give us that feedback because we actually use that feedback. This is the time I'm booking my exam for. You can see it's asking me to check in early, and that is very important. I always find I need that extra bit of time to get into the exam, also to provide my photos of my exam environment, provide my government issued ID, so you need that extra time, so I would come in earlier if you can. The exam itself for this exam is 90 minutes long. That's what it says here. It's actually a 60-minute exam with 30 minutes to give feedback about the exam. So if you happen to find the questions hard to follow or you found it confusing the way it was worded, please give us that feedback, and you can give it question by question, that feedback, so we can use that to improve the exam. When you write the exam, you'll be given a chance to flag questions for review for yourself for later, or you can flag them for comments, and that's that comment section. That extra 30 minutes that we give you is for those comments. When you finish your exam, It will verify that you want to end the exam and you say, yes, I would like to end my exam. Then it verifies one more time so you're not accidentally getting out of your exam, and you say, proceed, end my exam. And then it gives you that 30 minutes extra time to leave feedback. Let's take a look at what I can see in front of me. I can see I'm booking for the DP 900 exam, the Data Fundamentals exam. I've decided I want to do it in English, and it says exam length is 90 minutes. This exam is actually 60 minutes, but you're given 30 minutes extra to leave feedback about the exam. So when you write your exam, you can flag for review later by yourself, and you can also flag for comments. And that's the comments part I'm talking about, the extra 30 minutes they give you. Some tips about the exam: when you're writing the exam, read the question very carefully. Certain words are very important in the question. Make sure you toggle all the way down to the bottom of the screen so you make sure you're reading the entire scenario if there's a case scenario. Sometimes there's a line across the center that it will extend the question area so you can read the rest of the question, and then you can scroll it back up to see, then you can see the possible answers below. Our exams are multiple choice, so the answer will be in front of you. Read the question carefully so you can eliminate some obviously wrong answers. And then if you're not sure of the answer, at least guess. Don't leave any questions blank. You do not lose points for wrong answers. When you're going through your exam, you may want to flag some for review for later. And when you finish the exam, you'll have to confirm you're finishing. Then it gives you a chance to review those questions again. Then it verifies you want to end your exam, and you click verify end my exam, and that's when it gives you that extra 30 minutes for feedback. When you complete your exam, your score will show up immediately on the screen in front of you, so you'll know how you did immediately. And it would also discuss the parts that you were stronger in and the parts that you'll need to review later on. This also gets emailed to you later on, so you don't need to worry about writing it down. Once you've passed your exam, it will send you a badge of your exam and your certification that you've just passed, and you can post that into LinkedIn. As we talked about before, it's very valuable for your profiles, very valuable for you as an employee as well. So you want to make sure you're posting those on your LinkedIn wherever possible. When you're prepping for your exam, it's very important to make sure you've covered all the content in your course. And if you want additional reading, you can also go back to Microsoft Learn and review the concepts there as well. Microsoft does not have any official practice exams, but you can go to companies like Measure Up, which have similar exams, and they're great for practice. I highly recommend them. So if I'm okay to confirm this information here, I can proceed to checkout. And it wants to alert you to a few things. You're signing up for our online proctored exam, which we just talked about. This is in English. They actually ask you to test your system, and this is very important. Some VPNs or corporate firewalls may block your ability to take the exam, so it's good to know ahead of time before the actual exam comes up. They also review acceptable forms of government ID, which are here, and you want to make sure you have that handy when you're writing your exam. There's also some tips to make sure you're in a quiet space, well-lit space. You're only using one monitor, and your desk should be clear. Okay, so I'm going to say okay to that. I'm going to proceed to checkout. We just came back from creating our Microsoft account and booking our exam. Just to review a few important points here, I talked about the job seekers impacted by COVID section in the exam booking process, which is right here. So if you're impacted by COVID, you can take a Microsoft exam for $15, and you can just follow that link to learn more. When you're taking that exam, it has to be taken before December 31st of 2021. After you've taken your course, you may want to do some extra practice by going through the Microsoft Labs. Our labs can be found on GitHub, and you can just search it, and I'll take you there right now. So I followed that link, and I'm now on GitHub. I searched for Microsoft Learning, and it brought up all our courses and labs. I'm going to go look for one of the courses. Let's do the AZ900, the Azure Fundamentals. And it pulls up all the Azure Fundamentals courses. Some of them are in different languages. You want to make sure you're picking the correct language. So I'm picking this very top one here. And I can see the instructions here. Here are the walkthroughs. And then here are the individual labs. You can see in this particular course, there's 22 labs I can do. You will need an Azure account to be able to get into the portal, and I'll show you how to do that in a second. So in this lab, you can see I have very detailed instructions step by step on what to name things, and it walks me through the entire lab. So labs are a great add-on to the material you've covered, and it's practical knowledge on how to do the concepts that they talked about. So it's not mandatory, but I would greatly suggest you do them because the content will make more sense. Some certifications do not have labs in them, but the knowledge you gain from the labs will greatly help you pass that exam. So I just took you into GitHub and we looked at the Microsoft Learn labs that are available to you there. Again, just reinforcing, it's very important to do these labs if you can, because it gives you practical knowledge on the content you cover in the courses. Now let's talk about your Microsoft free account. To get in to do the labs, you'll need to be able to get into the portal, Microsoft portal, to actually access the environment. Follow the link on screen. You can go ahead and create a free 30-day trial, which I think is about $150 US we give you to go play around in the portal, so you can do those labs. If you're on a free trial, I would suggest you delete the resources at the end of the day, just so you're not running up any bill and you can finish all the labs in that same free trial and you don't run out of money. They will ask for a credit card just to verify you're not signing up for hundreds of free accounts, but they will not bill that free account unless you go in and say, yes, please keep me in Azure, please start billing my credit card. Otherwise, that free account will just close down. So do not worry about being billed because Microsoft does not bill you unless you definitely go in and say, yes, please bill my account. While we are talking about the portal, let's go into the portal and take a look around. I am now in the Microsoft portal and I want to give you a brief tour of the portal. Starting from the right hand side, you can see I'm signed in. So I'm in my account right now. I've got a happy face here. That's my feedback button. I can give feedback on the experience. Say I find this page very confusing to follow. I can give that feedback. We look at that feedback all the time. Right beside it is that question mark, and that's where I go to get help. I'm going to click on it so it can give me some resources. I can start with the community. I can go check if there's anything service issues, or maybe a Microsoft data center is down somewhere. I can go check if that is the case by clicking on it, and it's going to bring up service help, and they can tell me if there's any issues going on in our data centers. You can see it's refreshing because it's going to give me a live update of what's going on. It says there's no issues found. So there's no issues found, but there was one 24 hours ago. So back to my help. If I have any billing issues, I can go follow this link. I can also just go create a ticket if I needed to. So in the help and support ticket, it's trying to figure out what kind of help you need. If it's none of these categories, I can go create a new support request. I can pick the type of issue. Is it billing, technical, subscription? So let's say it's technical. What is the subscription? If I have many, I'll choose between them. Is it a service or all services? So I can say maybe it's my dedicated host. I can describe what it's saying, describe the issue, and then I can continue on. So it walks me through creating that support ticket. That is help and support, this question mark at the top. I'm going to leave that, not create a ticket. Right beside it is a cogwheel, and that's my settings for the page you see in front of you. So I can say pick my language. Do I want to be signed out? This currently is my home page, but I have another option, which is dashboard. And then I have the portal menu, which is this thing right here. I have it docked so it's always visible, but I can also have it as flyout so it disappears, as you can see there. I can pick a theme. So if I want to change the color of what I'm seeing, I tend to like the lighter ones. Do I want to change high contrast, white and black? I can as well. So this is the portal settings, the cogwheel at the very top. I'm going to close that. Right beside it is notifications. So it's like your email. If you haven't seen something, it's going to notify you you've missed something. Maybe you've deployed some resources and gone for a lunch or gone for a break. I come back, I may see a couple numbers there. It tells me I've either successfully deployed or there's an issue. It's just going to give me that warning in the top right there. If I have many different subscriptions and directories, I can filter between here. I have many, as you can see here, but I'm actually just choosing this one to use. Going over then, I can go to this next button right here, and it's called Cloud Shell. Basically, it's giving me a scripting environment right inside of Azure, and I haven't gone anywhere, as you can see. So I'm just opening up. It opens up inside the portal. I haven't left anywhere, and it's bringing up a cloud scripting environment. This is a search at the very top. I can search for topics. Maybe I'm looking to create a virtual machine. I can search here, go there. I can also go here. There's many different ways to get there, but I can also go there. On the portal menu, I can go to all resources, which is all resources I currently have in my subscription. That's all resources versus all services, and that's all services offered by Microsoft. So let's select all services, and I'll go in and select containers. And it gives me all the related resources that are containers. So if I clicked on container instances, I can go ahead and create that container instance. Let's choose another one. I just want to show you one other thing. So let's say I select compute. If I go to virtual machines and I'm hovering over it, I'll get a description of what it is, free training, and then useful links below, and then some free offerings that are available as well. So this is all if I just hover over and I haven't clicked anything. These links here take you back to Learn, what we already talked about earlier, back to Microsoft to Learn. To do any of the labs, you'll need a Microsoft account. So you should follow the link down here to create a free Microsoft account. That free account is 30 days or $150 US, whatever comes first. When you're doing your labs, if you can delete them at the end of the day, it will save you some money, just to make sure you don't run out of money before you've finished all the labs. I'm going to pull up a screen to show you what that Microsoft free account looks like. Here I am following that link for a free Microsoft account. I can go ahead and start free, or I can go ahead and buy. Scrolling down, I also have services that are free for 12 months. I also get a $200 credit to explore Azure for 30 days. And some services are always free, and that's 25 plus services, and I'll show you them below. So what can you do with your free account? It's going to explain them here. 5 more Azure services are now available for 12 months. Plus I get 25 gigs of storage with Cosmos DB. I can go see what other services are available for free for 12 months. And some other services are available for 12 months for free. And then which ones are always free, and that is down here as well. Okay, so scrolling back up, I'm on the free, create a free Microsoft account page, and you can find that with this link up here. That was the Microsoft free trial that I just took you to. We're back on, and let's take a look at certifications now. Our last thing to review is the Microsoft certification paths that are possible. So let's follow the link on screen, and I'll meet you on the next slide. I have followed that link, and it has taken me to this page. You can see this is the Microsoft certification page, and we call it the Microsoft certification poster. You can also follow this link here, follow the QR code, or follow this link to actually get to this poster later on. So let's take a look what this poster looks like. We are first going to concentrate on all the Azure certifications, which is the left side here, but Microsoft has their other ones, Microsoft 365, Dynamics 365, and Power Platform as well on this certification poster. Looking at the top, I can see if there's a star on the certification. It means it's an expert certification. This lock symbol to the bottom here, it means there's prerequisites for that certification. And then the exam requirements are here. So let's take a look around. On the Azure side, I have role-based training from Administrator, Developer Associate, Stack Hub, Engineer. You can see some of them have a star and a lock symbol. Scrolling down to Specialty, I can see a few in Specialty. Then I can also see the Fundamentals ones. So Azure Fundamentals, AI Fundamentals, and Data Fundamentals. And this is a newer one I want to bring your attention to. It's Security, Compliance, and Identity. So these are relatively new ones. Some of them are in beta still for the exam. But we have the SC900, the SC200, the SC300, and the SC400. Let's go back up and take a look at one of the advanced role-based ones that have an expert certification. And let's click on this DevOps Engineer Expert. This is similar to the course descriptions we've seen in Learn earlier, but this one explains this course, tells you the job role, it's the certifications, there's two prerequisites, and the required exam. I can go to the certification dashboard from here. And because I'm signed in, it'll let me go book that exam. Going back out. Here's the certification details section. So a prerequisite option 1 or prerequisite option 2. Then I need to take this one exam that's here to earn this certification here. The skills measured for this certification is down here. And I can also download the PDF that describes the certification in detail. Okay, so it describes it here. You can see the approximate weight for every section is also put on the right-hand side there. Develop a site reliability engineering strategy, 5 to 10%. Scrolling down, it's describing the entire certification and what is covered. All of our courses will have this description. You can just download them when you go into Learn or go into the certification poster as well. Okay, so just that's it for that exam there. Okay, and it gives you the two ways to prepare. We talked about the Learn modules, the online free, and you can also go find the instructor-led paid training. Online free will take you to the Learn modules we looked at earlier. I could start here. And it tells me it's for beginner, DevOps engineer, and it's Azure. Those are the keywords related to these. So I could go here, the learning path. No prerequisites here to start this one here. And then it would take me through the learning path. Okay, nice and detailed. Wonderful training put out by Learn. And it tells me it's going to take approximately 55 minutes to do this module, and there's 8 units in this module. Going back out. So the other way to prepare, as we mentioned before, is the instructor-led training. Here's the audience profile. Then I can go down and see the certification prerequisites. I want to make sure I have one of them. So remember, it's one or the other one, option 1 or option 2. Make sure I have that first. Here's the options and the certification required for those options. And again, I can see the certification skills outline as well. So back on the certification page, I want to show you another one. And clicking on any of them, and of course it tells you the prerequisites. It also tells you when exams are being replaced or retired, and that's very important. It's not usually at the top of the screen. Is replacing exams DP 200 and DP 201. They will both, the 200 and the 201, will retire on June 30th of this year. This exam right now is in beta, which means we're still We're still testing the exam and working on the questions. So feedback is very important when you're writing these exams. Remember, I told you can leave feedback. So give us that feedback. And sometimes when you finish the exam, it may take several days for you to get the result because they're evaluating the questions, evaluating the responses. And you may even hear back several days later that you've passed the exam because they've reevaluated some of the questions in that beta exam. So beta exams are a little different. You're not going to get the score right away. Sometimes it could take several days or maybe a week or two before you get the results. Again, it still tells you the skills measured. You can download the skills outline. And it tells you all about the course in detail. Okay, so that's beta exams. Let's also click this link here, the microsoft.com/certifications. And this takes me back to the initial certification page on the Learn site that's here. One other thing to mention is Microsoft Docs. It is a brilliant site for any information if you're trying to find out information about a particular subject or a technique or anything else in Azure. I go to it all the time for reference for articles, and it's Microsoft Docs. It's right here. And it sorts by subject, so I can go by Azure. And then any of the categories, you can see it looks similar to the portal, and you can get detailed information and help. So let's go to compute, for example. I'm going to pull up a dedicated host perhaps. And a really nice article, a 9-minute read, talks about dedicated hosts. There's some great visuals in here. Goes and explains the entire service. And really, it's a brilliant resource. I go to it for everything when I'm studying or when I'm trying to figure out a problem. I come here and they have other articles related to it, so you can go all over the place from here, but very detailed help. And that's Microsoft Docs. If you're searching for it, you can just go into Bing, put docs.microsoft, and it will come up. Brilliant resource. As you can see, it's very detailed, tells you what's in this article, and has many links down the side as well. Okay, so that's also found. It's found here. Learn is also here. Questions and answers as well. You can also go to questions and answers. What do you need help with? We're going to say Azure. And then again, you can find by what you're looking for help. So let's say we're going to look for computer vision. Lots of articles here for help. Okay, so went back to Microsoft. So again, at the top, that was at docs.microsoft.com. Q&A is there. There's code samples there as well. Let's take a look. So I'm going to filter by Azure. So here are some code samples as well. CLI, it's Java, JavaScript. Okay, that's code samples. So it's docs. We've got documentation. Of course, I can get back to Learn. I've got the Q&A section there. Code samples, but I'm going to go back to Learn to leave us there. And that's the Learn where I can customize my path, view the full catalog, filter by Azure. If I do not know my role, I can leave it. I can go to maybe intermediate this time. These are all modules. And it tells you the time it's going to take to complete that module. Here's the entire learning path here, roughly 10 hours, brilliantly detailed. Lots of information, a lot of videos, knowledge checks along the way, and then a summary as well, and they always give you exercises to perform. Okay, so that's if you're getting your certifications. I'm going to go back to the certifications page, ending us off there. There's our exams. I can say I want these certifications, and I can filter by Azure. Here's all the certifications. Tells me the exam that's required as well, the level it is at, and the classification. So administrator advanced, this one's developer intermediate. If you have Microsoft certifications, you have to keep an eye out for some that may need renewal. The fundamentals courses do not need renewal, but the other ones, especially the role-based training ones, may need to be renewed. 6 months prior to your certification expiry, you will get an email reminding you about the renewal. Microsoft is trying out a new renewal process where you have to do an assessment, not take the exam again. The assessment is roughly 25 to 30 questions, And you can do it after doing a learning path, or if you work in the portal quite a bit, you can go ahead and just do that assessment. There's no fee involved in it. It's a free assessment and renewal of the certification. And there's also no labs at this point. So you want to make sure your certifications do not expire and you do the certification renewal in time. Remember, you'll get a reminder about 6 months prior. Wrapping up some of the things we covered during this session, I want to remind you of some of the links I provided earlier. The first one is if you want to take Microsoft courses and certifications, you can go and use the Microsoft Learning Pass, which is this top link here. You may want to sign up for a free Microsoft account so you can do the labs, and that's the second link that's here beside the orange box. And lastly, you can take some Microsoft instructor-led training by following this third link here. When you're taking your labs, you may need to create a Microsoft account. That's the fourth link here. You can go into GitHub and do practice labs as well, which is this fifth link here. You can also look up all the different certifications and find which ones interest you by following this link on the bottom. I want to thank you for your time today, especially spending this last 45 minutes with me. My contact details are on screen. Please reach out and say hello. I want to emphasize the importance of certifications because they're both valuable to you and to your organization. Make sure you don't let your certifications expire by renewing in time. I hope you enjoy the rest of your Global Azure Bootcamp and have a wonderful day.